Okay, welcome to the last day for Ether Raids of this week. We are taking on another Japanese player here to close this week out, and we're gonna see.
I'm excited.
Got here. Okay, we got a 6-unit defense, which probably gives you some indication of how well my week has been going on defense. You typically only got 6-unit defenses when your own defense is doing pretty bad. So I think I've lost I've lost 6 matches. Yeah, I think I lost like 6 matches this week, which is rare. Well, not rare. It's rare because I think I'm still gonna make tier 39, which is crazy, and I don't score that much anyways. So the fact that I'm still able to do that is just some really good RNG. I think only 2 of the losses counted, which is fantastic. So we're gonna take this. The team here that I have for the hitting and running and all of that good stuff. Gonna break all of these structures here and then go up and take out Byleth. I've never seen a near save Byleth before. I don't know if that's like the role that he'll play well in the future, because of how his kit works, but I do like the versatility.
Ready.
That being said, he still dies to Winter Edelgard, so probably no. But I think he might survive like pretty much everything else, if not most other things. That's probably the only reason why I didn't consider it as an option to use him as a near saver. Plus, I don't have that much fodder left for near save, so also that. But yeah, that's definitely something to consider. Red near savers aren't like
We'll do our best.
in the best spot. I think primarily because there's so many things that kill red units in general. Having a red near saver just doesn't necessarily bode well in terms of like being able to survive stuff. The color matchup, you really want blue or green. Colorless probably. We'll see what the bridal banner holds, but red you typically want to stay away from in terms of near saving. Red is like in an awkward spot. Aside from Ike, there really isn't very much else good in red. And maybe Sanaki. Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, they have like good inheritables and stuff that you can, you know, make things work, but blue is really strong and green is pretty strong right now. So red is, aside from Ike, not doing the hottest. But yeah. Shez gets it. It's crazy that the Scowl brings her special bet down to 3, even though I have the Ike ring.
Got him. Leave it to me.
I guess, well, before the Ike ring, she has 4. Time Pulse brings it to 2. Well, what am I saying? Time Pulse brings it to 2. Yes. Oh, okay. It makes sense. Yeah, it does. Because I repositioned with Crom, so that took 1. Okay. Alright, understandable. I guess maybe, well, even if I were to do the Hush Spectrum thing, the Scowl would still take effect and she wouldn't hit lethality on the first hit, which is really what you'd want her to do if she's going to take out the Byleth here. Lumera, this divine terrain effect, I'm kind of like 50-50 on this. I don't know, the Divine Vein Stone, I don't particularly like it, but also it adds like a bunch of stats. Like there's especially like in the matchup against Emblem Ike, it really does a big number in his ability to survive things. So yeah, that is something that I've been thinking about, but I don't like the fact that I have to end turn with a unit just to get the terrain effect off, or attack, or defend, or whatever the case may be, and the fact that it can be overridden if my unit dies. I'm not like the highest on these divine terrains. Aside from like the flame one, I kind of dig the flame one because of the restriction in movement, and the miasma one I actually really like as well. The miasma terrain gives like a really big stat swing, but I guess it would kind of be the same as the stone terrain as well, because I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about these terrains in general. I think I think my opinion is really more so about how it affects the Emblem Ike matchup. Because it helps him to survive, because he gets so much true defense from, I don't know how much, it's like what, 5, 6 from the terrain maybe? And it really just stacks on to what he's capable of doing. So I don't know, man. I am on the fence with these terrain effects. That aside, we're getting through here like butter. Plus, what was that? Plus 65 defense and res, and the unit still dies. Like, the math in this game is crazy. Like, I don't understand how you can have plus 65 on top of your visible stats. So that's like a plus 120, and then you're still dying. Like, how is? I mean, math. Yeah. Math. It's crazy, the numbers in this game, how you can stack stats. Real crazy, man. But we're getting through this. I think this trap is real, so I don't think we'll be able to kill Gatekeeper here, but he won't be able to kill us. So that at least is fine. I'm probably going to step on this with Valentine's Crom here once I make up my mind. Yeah. Thunderstorm. It just rained yesterday. What are you talking about? After this match, I'm going to do the defense replays because there's no point in making a video of me losing 6 times. It'll take way too long. The edits, cutting it down, it'll be at least 40 minutes probably if I were to edit it out. So, nah. Just going to do a quick run through of some of the highlights and go over exactly what went wrong. Just so that you guys can see what happened on defense. I always feel bad when I do that because I feel like I don't give enough highlights to the players that won. But it wouldn't be as entertaining to watch, sadly, if I did like just the losses. The losses take, having your opponent win a match takes longer than you winning the match. If your team wins, it's typically over in like a minute. Whereas if an opponent wins, it's typically like 3 minutes, 4 minutes for the replay to be done. So yeah, that's probably not ideal for a standard video length if you're thinking 5 times. That's 3 times 5, that's 15 minutes without anything else, without the wins. So yeah, stick around. I'm going to put the defense replays in here. GG's. Okay, here we go with the defense replays. We're going to start off a little bit different here this time. I'm just going to show you a quick matchup showcase with Shez and Emblem Ike here. I think I was mentioning this a little bit earlier in the video, but this is going to be with Lumera, just to show you how crazy these defensive terrain, or this Divine Vein Stone, goes when combined with Emblem Ike. Plus, also, Lumera gives the defense buff, if I'm not mistaken, so that's extra stats plus health that Ike will have. Not that I was running this Lumera, I'm not a big fan, and I also didn't realize that so many people would be running Lumera, but then it just reminds me that not a lot of people pulled on Gateau's banner, so, or sparked for Gateau even, so a lot more people have Lumera than Gateau, so I guess it kind of makes sense for the AoE damage reduction, but +4. It's crazy that it just says +4. So he's getting all stats sub 4, and my god, does it make a difference. Like, in this matchup in particular, those +4 stats are the difference between life and death for Emblem Ike here. We're doing 69 times 4, which is nice.
Your luck has run out.
As you can see here, 3 health remaining. He's not dead, unfortunately. Whereas I'll show you in a minute that without the terrain here, he is quite the dead boy without the terrain. Loki actually does it. Like, I didn't realize that she gets special acceleration in her weapon. So per turn, she charges her special +1. So it's a two cooldown special. So by turn 2, her special should be charged, regardless of. Well, I don't think flyers have any special acceleration mechanics, so which is just so unfortunate. Like, in terms of like game design, that's really bad. Like, you can only create these special acceleration, like the favoritism towards infantry units is like really, really obvious.
This one's mine.
And it's not necessarily the best when you look at it in terms of like flyers and maybe even beast units. When you think about it, there's just so much given to infantry melee units, excluding dragons and beasts, that it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I've taken out everyone there. Flyers and Cavs have a long way to go to catch up in terms of just skills that are available to them, because it's crazy that I have to depend on external support for special acceleration or special reduction on my flyers and Cavs. So here we get, that's 10 difference in terms of the number of damage between the, and that was without her special too. 10 difference between the damage that with the terrain and without the terrain. So that is a crazy amount of stat swing there just from the Divine Vein Stone alone. That is just the difference between, as I said, life and death there for Ike. So I didn't test when I was making my defense, or when I rebuilt the defense, I didn't test it with the Divine Vein Stone support included. So that's why I took a couple of the extra losses that I did this week, because I didn't factor that in, that people would actually use Lumera, because I don't. I think she's a terrible unit. I strictly prefer Gato. I don't like the fact that you have to be within a third. You have to be within a third. What? You have to be within a certain space to get her support effect, the Divine Vein Stone effect. I don't like that. As well as the fact that 50% damage reduction means nothing when you're getting hit for 100. So yeah. This was the first iteration of the defense, and ultimately I just failed in building the defense this week. I think it has to do with Loki being a new unit and everything that she brings to the table. I wasn't able to factor that all in, as well as the fact that I just wanted to like use different units, and that's why Chloe was here. But it just didn't work out with the charge as well as peony dancing. I think I mentioned this pretty much the entire week, that it just didn't work out with peony dancing. So it ended up just a lot of mistakes on my end in terms of the defensive build this week, which I think I remedied, or I'm going to remedy for Astra Anima. But yeah, sometimes you get it wrong. Yeah, Lumera was probably the biggest surprise of the week here, that people actually use her instead of Gato. But then, as I said earlier, a lot of people just didn't pull for Gato, and I think also the fact that Loki does remove the AoE damage reduction effects if you have more than 2 buffs, but it's really easy to just not have more than 2 buffs. Just, you know, don't dance with Peony and then avoid your other support units that give status effects. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but also to have to remember that, I can see how some people would be struggling to factor that in as something else that they would have to do just to win a match in Light and Dark Season. So yeah, as you can see here, they're just going to snipe Peony because
you can do it.
Kanto 1 just doesn't work out in my favor. I mean, if she Kantos right onto the tile there, as you can see where Eligard and Mur is, she'd be fine, but not in my favor there. And then I didn't also realize that both of these units had the same speed stat, so this is pretty much GG's. There's no way I'm winning with 2 units locked down for the following turn. So first match there, a loss. Then I made some adjustments and I fixed the speed stats with dragon flowers. So as well as I think I gave Camilla life and death. But second match, Gatekeeper, who is basically the main enemy on this team here, shuts everything down. So even though I've fixed the problem as it relates to the speed stat, Gatekeeper pretty much just counters my entire team here. And yeah, Ike is going to be able to just bait, well, Camilla in this situation, and Loki. And no one should be able to attack. Well, actually, because Gatekeeper is out of range here, I think Peony just gets baited because she's she gets baited. This is when I figured out that the plus 10 true damage also applies to my dancer, and she will get baited because of that.
Great Ether!
Yep. For whatever reason, she doesn't dance because there you go, she's doing 10 damage because Loki gives her the plus 10 true damage. But for whatever reason, she decides not to dance because that would have been an option to dance Chloe, because Chloe isn't isolated. They isolated Edelgard. So yeah. And basically, if any of those two pieces is, if any of the pieces fall, my offensive pieces, then it all just falls apart. It's supposed to work as a unit, those 4 flyers. So if one of them goes, then the whole thing pretty much just crumbles. And just not a good cohesive unit. I changed out the units here, took out Chloe because the charge really makes it hard to build a defense around Chloe. You'd probably have to put her in the back, but then if you have any other ranged unit in the front, they're gonna it's difficult to have overlapping ranges when you build it like that with charge. So yeah, no good. What happened here? Oh yeah, one unit defeats, so I'm able to get a kill here. This is pretty much just Camilla taking out Sita. Sabotage, Miracle, and then one more hit just to call it a day. That's that. And I'm just going to try to make these go a little bit faster. Really nothing else happened here, so we can skip this. And I think we get into another win here. They didn't surrender. Yeah, that's what happened. They just kept playing. I'll probably just let this run. I don't feel like... yeah, I'm probably going to just let this run here. I like the fact that Mur is such a good far save that she's able to survive this encounter here on turn 1. She really only dies to Ninja Sanaki and Leon, and that's what you want from your far save. You want them to allow your team the time to, or at least the turn 1, to get everything set up, and that's pretty much what's going to happen here. I mean, there are other ways to beat her. I mean, there are other units in the game that you can probably bring just to take her out, but not that many. It's not that big of a list, and I like that. I like that there aren't that many units that take out Mur, currently at least, which I'm pretty sure they'll remedy that pretty much on the next banner. So basically, they just did a hit and run play there, and some of my units got exposed. Which, as I mentioned before, pretty much just shuts the whole thing down, but they pretty much just went after Mur because they get the kill now. Unfortunate. And, yeah. From here, they can basically strike me from range, but I think if I remember what happened is that they didn't have enough actions to take out all of my ranged threats, and we were able to just start getting some kills. Loki there with the 99 if she'd attacked. She does a lot of damage, Loki, but I feel like she needed two things to make her like just a really good defensive option for Dark Season. She needed DR piercing, and she needed odd or even recovery. If they make it a seal, then great. But I feel like she needed those things just to be complete as a defensive mythic, especially because she's a healer and she has that cancel 1 in her weapon. Yeah, it's just not the most easy thing to build around. I would have preferred just, like really if I wanted a healer, I probably would have just brought my own, Safi in particular, or maybe even Tina. Either one of those two would have worked just as well for me in particular. And also the fact that she's a flyer and I want to get her into the combat, but to do that I would need some type of guidance because of how I set the defense up. I'm either going to have calves or infantry units that are going to warp in, so it just doesn't work very well for me. And I can't I'm not going to take out her B skill. I mean, I could probably take out her B skill for pass because I'm not like the biggest, I don't really necessarily need the Discord. I'll probably get that from someone else. But it also has the flash effects built in. If I'm dazzling, yeah, it has the flash effect built in, so she's going to get counterattacked and she's not living a hit. But I mean, it is what it is. We get the defensive mythic that we get and we don't get to be upset about it. Yeah, we continue forward here. I think I had a thought, but was it about Loki? I had a thought. I'll remember as I keep talking, I think. But yeah, what happened here is you're gonna see, man, again, the cancel 1 from the Firestorm and Rockslide Dance. It is good, but also at the same time it's kind of really annoying in terms of the units or the unit that's dancing. This is how we were able to get a kill. Now, I did not realize that Peony was going to do that when I built the defense, so that was a complete surprise to me. I figured that she would just stay in place, because what you realize here is that now Shez is not able to warp in because Peony is out of range, and luckily the opponent surrendered here. So we take those, but it does create some problems for me a little bit further down in the week because she's again not covered by far save. So the map design here, it just doesn't really take into consideration that cancel 1 there. And as you can see here, Ike, as I mentioned, you can set it up so that he doesn't lose his status effects, so he gets the warp bubble mechanic from Myrrh, which I'm not sure they realized that he was going to get it. I'm not 100% sure that they did. So my team is not able to warp in, so similar to if there was a gatekeeper here, we are going to be stuck here. Only Peony can attack, and Peony will indeed attack instead of dancing Edelgard, who is the 7th slot unit. She's just going to attack and suicide here. And yeah, once Peony's down, as I mentioned, it's a big part of the defensive strategy to have Peony, because I get drive +6 from her just existing. So yeah, it's GG's from there. They can basically just hit and run the defense because I don't have any follow-up. So yeah, it happens. I think it happened at least 4 times this week where Peony did that. I didn't realize that Gatekeeper, or at least I forgot that Gatekeeper gives +5, which is a lot. Def Res, but like when you look at that in if you look at that along with what will happen with Lumera here and her terrain, that's +9 that this Ike is getting. So there's really no way that Shez was ever going to get this kill, because he's just going to have like way too much defensive bulk. On top of that, none of my units can warp in yet again, so Peony will attack, die, and once the dancer is dead, it's pretty easy for them to hit and run this. So yeah, map flaw, typically I use this map whenever I'm running like a catcher ball or some type of flyer composition. I don't typically use calves on this map because the terrain is impassable, of course. I could have included Igrin, but I have Igrin blessed for Astra Anima, so I don't want to re-bless her. I'm being stubborn about it. I don't know why, but yeah, I just don't want to re-bless her. So pretty much every time you see Gatekeeper, that's what's going to happen. We won't be able to get over the terrain because of the warp bubble effects. So yeah. And with this one, what happened? I think it was what happened with this one? I don't remember. Notice here, Peony did the thing again, but this time there was no one in range, so Camilla didn't snipe anyone. But I think what ends up happening here is that they snipe a unit with Baby Golvig. They snipe Peony with Baby Golvig because, again, Peony isn't covered by Far Save. And they're able to successfully hit and run the team for a bit, but we eventually catch them with, I think it was Shez, if I'm not mistaken, and Edelgard, Brave Edelgard as well. Alright, so from here they're able to run away or do whatever they want. Not gonna get a lockdown on Loki because Loki has too much res, which is one thing I at least like about in this res meta. They actually give us units with high res. So yeah, Loki really does make her res stat work to her benefit. So yeah, they back out here. Mer and Edelgard here putting in a ton of work. They're just not able to bust through, so they're just going to pick off whichever units are available to be picked off. And this is pretty much why I haven't been doing the other other replays for the other matches, because it's really easy to pick off the defense once the dancer is gone. Units will get out of position really easily, and if you're able to take out either the far or the near save, then it's pretty much GG's. You've already won. And Edelgard doesn't do very well against Emblem Ike, so that's typically what happened in those matchups. Edelgard against Emblem Ike, she would attack. She's going to live because of Armored Blaze, but she's going to be at like 10 or 5, depending on how invested the Emblem Ike is, and support units, stuff like that. But yeah, it's really easy to break down at least the near save aspect of the team from there, and then from then on what will happen is that they'll just take out the rest of the units one by one. But pretty good defensive, what I want to say, my defensive units are doing pretty well in terms of the near save and the far save. They're sticking pretty close to each other, and they don't have a melee unit that can take out Edelgard. So for now, they are stuck in a corner here. Mer versus Baby Golvig is probably what's going to happen at some point, if I remember correctly. No? No? Okay. What happened here? They've already lost a couple of units, but I don't remember what happened here. I think Mer died, if I'm not mistaken. Did they lose the unit? 1, 2... No, they didn't. Who dies here? I totally forget who dies here. 44. Full 44. That's crazy. But still not enough to take out Edelgard. She's just that strong, even with the terrain. I love the fact that she beats blue units. That's her job, and she does it well. And then Nerthus here. Okay, that's what happened. Yeah, Edelgard just being Edelgard. Really love it. Yep. really love it. If they had like a red unit melee, they probably would have been able to get through Edelgard there. There are a lot of things that kill Edelgards these days, especially if they have Lagu's Friend 4. Yeah, a lot of things that kill Brave Edelgard. what happened here? There's the combination that I mentioned, Ike plus Lumera. I don't remember what happened in this one. At this point, I was already tapped out. Just like, I already didn't care because, what was that, like 4 losses, 2 losses so far, if I'm not mistaken. And then I wasn't going to change the defense, which I could have done, but that would have taken away from the integrity of what I had built, and it already isn't what I had built to begin with. So yeah, I was just gonna, because what I could have just like switched it back to the defense that I ran previously, but I just didn't want to do that. There we go, we'll get another surprise kill. It's really good that there's at least a trap here, even though I didn't even like build it with that in mind. But I'll take it. I will take that trap. And then remember what I said about Loki pre-charging her special is turn 2.
I'll enjoy
and
this.
she does this. And that was with the help of the miasma terrain that she was able to do that. Yeah, I'll take it. She is able to kill Ike with some help there. But yeah, I think she really needed DR piercing in her kit, because remember that she's also getting that DR cut from Camilla. But I think without it, she probably would have missed that kill. So she really needed that in her kit. She got like, yeah, she got the ability to pre-charge her special, plus I think true damage as well. They could have added the DR cut in there as well. They didn't need to be that stingy. And Shez here just being a menace. She's like such a bully. She only picks fights that she can win. If there's one thing I've noticed about the Shez, she only picks fights that she can win. Peony attacking into Julia when she's doing 0 damage, not isolated, and has someone that she can dance. Great. Fantastic. So basically Peony just suiciding for no reason there. Sita and not able to kill Edelgard, which is crazy. Which is good also at the same time, because that's what the weapon triangle is for. But she has armor effectiveness and a bunch of other stuff, so you'd think she'd be able to win that matchup, but it just doesn't work out in her favor. And then again with the common theme, Gatekeeper plus Ike equals I lose. It's really simple to get around this. All you need is a unit that can move 3 spaces, either a Cav or Igrin. But as you can see here, I have a warp setup, so once there's a Gatekeeper, it just doesn't work for me. Yeah. Which is why I really do appreciate having ranged Cavs as an option. Like typically whenever I'm building my defense, the first thing I typically draw for is like a ranged Cav, but there aren't that many that are good in the Ike meta. You're pretty much down to either Leon or Shamir, and I've been using Shamir quite a bit. So I mean, there are some like devoted basket builds that you can do with like Fatal Smoke 4, but I don't want to do that. So yeah. And yeah, not much my team can really do from here. Shez goes in, not enough damage. Because as I said, it's a cohesive unit, so once at least someone goes down,
I'll guide you.
The whole thing kind of falls apart. Yep. And that's pretty much it. Not much else is going to happen there aside from the entire team getting wiped. Let's see here. No Gatekeeper this time, but Fallen Maria. The issue here is that if Shez were to attack, she would get the kill in terms of like No, actually no. You saw the matchup earlier. Once Lumiere is involved, she just doesn't get the kill. Because I didn't factor that in, I could probably build it so that she does get the kill, which will require some special manipulation so that Shez gets the lethality on the first hit, which is, you know, a lot more damage. But once Fallen Maria is involved, even if she does get him down, or even if she does get the lethality on the first hit, there's no way I'm killing him. There's literally no way, because
This one's
Miracle, he's just gonna get back to 99, and he's also getting like +8 here because of the drive support from Fallen Maria as well. She does give additional stats, so yeah.
I'll put you in your place.
As you can see, it's not happening.
Great Ether!
And even if it did happen, Maria would just bring him back to life, and Shez would die. Everyone would die, pretty much, to that specific configuration. You really would need either Feud or Fatal Smoke or something. But that's it, man. That's how the week went. I'll be better next week. That much is guaranteed. GG's. See you in the next match, or next week, or whatever. Yeah.